Katie Price's lavish new home near Horsham is already causing a stir, and not for the reasons she might have hoped, as neighbours fear history could be repeating itself in another Mucky Mansion saga. The 47-year-old star is currently renting the sleek West Sussex new build for a hefty £4,500 a month. However, despite having lived there for only a few months, locals claim the once pristine property is already being overtaken by mounting piles of rubbish. Newly emerged and unsettling photographs show bin bags, debris and discarded items scattered around the exterior and dumped at the rear of the home, leaving passers-by stunned by what they describe as an apparent lack of care for the luxury property. Concern among neighbours is said to be growing by the day as the mess continues to accumulate. One local source has reportedly claimed the house is going the same way as her old place, sparking fears that the situation could spiral further. With rubbish piling up at an alarming pace, residents are now questioning just how bad things might get. Katie's infamous Mucky Mansion, which she purchased in 2014 from Tory peer Francis Maud, was eventually put on the market and sold after she was evicted amid financial troubles and a second bankruptcy declaration in March 2024. She later moved into a Tudor-style rental costing £5,000 a month, but that arrangement also came to an abrupt end after just a few months. Speaking candidly on her podcast last July, Katie revealed how she began scrolling through Rightmove once her landlord informed her the property was being put up for sale. She explained, "I've got to move house as the guy who owns it wants to sell the house now. So, I've got to go on the house hunt again. I might go closer to the kids' school. I am gonna talk to the guy, he might let me stay there a bit longer but he might not." She subsequently relocated to her current £4,500 a month residence, a 3-bedroom barn conversion, though fresh drone images highlight just how close the property sits to neighbouring homes, raising further concerns over the growing mess. Katie eventually found a buyer for her rundown Mucky Mansion in December 2024, after initially listing it for £1.5 million. However, after failing to secure a sale, the price was slashed to £1.35 million in October 2024. The property was ultimately snapped up for £1.15 million, a stark contrast to the figure Katie once believed the Sussex mansion was worth. A public notice on Rightmove confirmed, mortgagees in possession are now in receipt of an offer for the sum of £1,150,000. Despite the sale, Katie did not receive a penny, as the proceeds were swallowed by outstanding debts tied to the property. When first marketed, potential buyers were warned not to fall into the empty swimming pool, while the sales brochure also flagged concerns that the land could be contaminated by waste. An online listing optimistically suggested the home could be transformed into an impressive family house, following extensive refurbishment. Careful to avoid referencing its famous former owner, the advert described the property as a substantial detached family home including 3 reception rooms, 9 bedrooms and 4 shower rooms spread over 3 floors plus a 1-bedroom annex. Bailiffs evicted Katie and her family from the West Sussex home in May 2024 after she failed to keep up with monthly mortgage payments. The former glamour model had paid £1.35 million for the property, which featured prominently in a Channel 4 series documenting her attempts to renovate it. Upon leaving, Katie branded the house cursed, later admitting, "I've had nothing but bad memories in that house," and insisting that moving on would mark the start of a new chapter. Adding to her turbulent year, the Daily Mail revealed last week that Katie had split from boyfriend JJ Slater after almost 2 years together. The relationship reportedly ended when Katie realized she could not see a long-term future with the former reality star, who is 14 years her junior. Insiders claim cracks in the romance had become too obvious to ignore in recent months, despite Katie publicly insisting they were still going strong. The mother of 5 has now accepted the relationship has run its course, and that JJ, 32, will not become husband number 4. The pair began dating in February 2024 after JJ found fame on E4's Married at First Sight UK. Katie had even spoken openly about the possibility of having a 6th child with him, but ultimately, the relationship was not meant to last. A source revealed, Katie has had doubts for some time about whether JJ is husband material, but she hoped those concerns would fade. Instead, her fears only grew, and she's now accepted the relationship will not end with her walking down the aisle for a 4th time. JJ was left disappointed and has already packed his bags and moved back to his home in Essex. He genuinely saw a future with Katie, but it seems she ultimately had a very different outlook. Katie began dating JJ shortly after her split from former fiancé Carl Woods, her 8th engagement.